Hello and welcome back to my channel. Well, it's been quite an interesting week. I set off last Saturday with the intention of doing my usual 2A's, 2B's and 11 sins. And I have to say I'm so grateful this week that this plan can be adapted to suit the kind of week we're having. Because last Sunday morning I actually hurt my back. Something very minor ended up with a back problem. So I have been quite uncomfortable all week, found it very difficult to walk. I'm okay if I'm flat on my back or upright, but I'm hopeless at anything in between, like sitting in the chair now is quite painful. And bless her, my group leader this morning was explaining to me about problems with the sacrum, and she gave me some exercises because she sees a chiropractor herself, and gave me a couple of very simple ways of stretching out the sacrum or the sacrum area of my back. So bless you, Naomi. So consequently, it's been one of those weeks when feeling sorry for yourself results in making you want to feel like you can justify overeating, but I haven't. It's been one of those weeks when I haven't been able to walk my normal mileage. So I've actually walked 25.99 miles in 3 days this week. So I only walked on Sunday, Wednesday and yesterday. So my mileage is more or less down by 45 to 50%. Now, because I knew that my mileage would be down, I took a decision to change my sins this week. I remember back in April when I had a fall and hurt my arm, so I couldn't walk for a week. I stuck to plan exactly on that occasion and gained 4 pounds. So the level of food that I consume is conducive with the level of exercise I usually take. So on Saturday, Sunday and Monday this week I had my 11 sins, but Tuesday to Friday I had an average of 5 sins a day. Because I knew that if I had my 11, I would gain weight. And while I've got space to gain, I'm actually very, very comfortable where I'm at. So I did that. I planned properly. I stopped myself overeating for, you know, that feeling when you feel like you're in the pity pot. Woe is me, I've got back pain. Woe is me, I feel mardy. The old me would have used that as an excuse, nothing more than an excuse to eat. And believe me, I spent most of my days looking for excuses to eat back then. I don't do that anymore. So I haven't eaten over this problem at all, and I got to maintain, which is really the result I think I deserved this week. So I'm grateful to have that, and it wasn't hard work, it just meant making right decisions.
There was a kind of breakthrough moment where you put a naked bar back in the fridge on a day where you hadn't walked.
I'd had, I think 4.5 or 5 sins that day, and I'd got my food at tea time, and on the tray I had a naked bar which was 6.5 sins. Yeah, I must have had 4.5, and the naked bar would have taken me up to the 11. And I actually looked at it and thought, I haven't walked today. This was Thursday. I haven't walked today, so I put it back in the fridge. Now, the old me would have been so resentful if I thought I had to do that. But I actually chose to do it with a smile on my face because I'm not going to self-sabotage these days. The only person who has responsibility for my weight is me. So the things I will not do today are self-sabotage or make excuses. And I could have come on this morning and said to you, I have had the most shit of weeks. I have been in so much pain this week. I've actually been taking painkillers, which is not like me because I don't usually take tablets. And then you go on to think, oh, painkillers make you constipated, constipation makes you gain weight, but it doesn't if you up your speed. There's a remedy to all of these problems. Like I was talking to a lady in group this morning who was talking about, times of the month when some ladies gain fluid weight. Now, this lady was older than me and I'm 60. She was probably 63, 64. And we were talking about, the times of the month when you gain water weight. I've never had those problems. I must be just one of the lucky few. I have never, from the age of 11 to the age of 54, I had a period every 28 days. And I think it took me 25 minutes to go through the menopause. So I have been very, very fortunate there. I do empathise with people who do have those problems, but my answer to that was always, if I was retaining fluid in the summer because of the heat, I drank more, flush it out. And it doesn't always sound like it makes sense, but if the more fluid you retain, if you drink, and I think I'm right in this, Jo, aren't I? You drink water, it'll wash out that excess. My doctor told me to do it, so, his experience was good enough for me. Might not work for everybody, but it always worked for me. So we had a marvellous group this morning. I just can't, every week I say, don't I, my group's smashing, my group's wonderful. It was bigger than ever this week. We had more new members. And we had a Christmas party, which I assume everybody's doing this week. We got our little bauble to write our Christmas wish on. And I was thinking about what to write on mine. And I think I'm going to write... We have a meeting on Christmas Eve, because it's a Saturday. And we have a meeting on New Year's Eve, because it's a Saturday. So I think my Christmas wish is going to be to weigh the same at the New Year's Eve meeting as I weighed on Christmas Eve. And let's see if I can do it. If I gain again, it's not the end of the world. It won't be a massive gain. We look back through my book for last Christmas, and on the 19th of December last year, I weighed 10 stone 9. On the 26th of December, which was Boxing Day, I weighed 10 stone 9.5. And on New Year's Day, I weighed 10 stone 9 again. So if I can do it last year, I can do it again this year. And one of the things that motivates me to do that is, if I choose, like I used to do many years ago, to overeat and gain weight, I know how bad I'll feel about it. So that motivates me to stay within plan and have a good Christmas. But Christmas is about more than food, for me. This morning we had our buffet, and lots of people had baked and made some gorgeous things. One lady made these little ice cube bars that were made from Cadbury's Dairy Milk, Muller toffee yoghurt, a teaspoon of cocoa powder, and then they were frozen in ice cubes, and then she had sprayed them with edible gold glitter. They were like little gold bullion bars. They were in last year's Christmas magazine. And you know what? They were absolutely gorgeous. It was like melting a caramel chocolate ice cream block in your mouth. So if you want to look for those, they will be on the website, I'm assuming, because they were in last Christmas's magazine. I won't quote the sin value, because I think it depends on how many ice cubes and what size you make from the amount of chocolate and yoghurt you use. But if you think about it, 45 grams of chocolate is going to be about 13 sins. Then you've got your teaspoon of cocoa powder. Anything over and above that, I think the edible glitter will be free and the Muller's free. So it's, I would think about 15 or 16 sins for the mixture. She had doubled it up and made quite a lot. But we were saying how nice at Christmas to serve those on an iced glass platter with coffee, because there was nothing diet about them at all. Anybody would have been glad to have one of those at your house. Lots of people had made mince pies, and we had apple cinnamon little bites, and we had lots of roulades and I'm trying to think of the word, pate. We had salmon pate. Something I learned this morning, that mackerel's free but smoked mackerel's not.
Really?
So I was told in group chat. Now I don't eat either, so it's never been a problem for me, but I meant to ask Jo to check that out, because apparently smoked mackerel's not free.
What about smoked salmon?
Don't know, we'll have to check it out.
Smoked salmon.
Well, I don't know, but I thought smoked salmon's free, isn't it? Oh well, we will check that, because it's caused a bit of confusion in my mind. I say it doesn't really.
Say that.
Sorry?
Did Naomi say that?
No, one of the ladies in group said it.
What did Naomi have to say about it?
She said that she didn't eat smoked mackerel, so she wasn't 100% sure, but we should check it.
You don't often see smoked mackerel anyway, do you?
I don't know. Don't like fish very much, so
No.
it's not a problem to me.
Oh, actually you do, yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
course
you
you
buy
do.
smoked and peppered mackerels and
Yeah.
things, don't you?
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, so if you can check it out while you're standing there, you've got your laptop,
Yeah.
that would be interesting. There were lots and lots of lovely cakes, Slimming World cakes, but you know what? Last week we were given the new page at group about the sweetener, and nearly everybody had forgotten. Now, I'm not criticising people in my group. I love my group, fabulous bunch of people, but it just shows how a week later we can reach for a Slimming World recipe book, and of course all those recipe books are wrong now. Did you know, for example, that the half sin cake is now a 3.5 sin cake? Now, I've never tasted that. As I've said before, I don't eat sweetener. But for those people who do regularly make it, because it's a nice sweet treat, that's a big difference. And I think Slimming World need to do a little bit more about updating stuff. In the same way that I think for Christmas, they need to do a little bit more about making sure people are really aware of what sin values there are on wines these days. Because people coming in and joining the groups, picking up the pack that we have, because we're current members, the wine measures in those books are out of date. So presumably, I mean, I don't know, when does the new book come out? Do they bring out an annual update, or can we buy, is there a new one we'll be able to buy? But things like that, you know, don't fall foul of it. Because if you think about it, you know, a 3.5 sin cake rather than a half sin cake, and let's face it, most people can eat a whole one of those, and a glass of wine which is now 12 sins instead of 8, that's your sins for the day. So these are the things we need to be really aware of if we're coming into Christmas. I didn't take anything sweet to the, what we call in Nottingham, a fuddle, because I don't have that sweet a tooth. I just bought some falafels from Tesco, made by Cauldron, and they are 1.5 sins each, and they actually went down very well because people were saying they'd never seen them and they never dreamt they'd be as low in sins. And I actually really like those, and I like to add them to salads and things because they make it filling, but I can actually just sit and eat them cold because I love falafels. But yeah, lots of planning for Christmas, lots of really, really lovely things on our buffet today. And lots of... Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. She's right.
Ah, go on then.
Because if you put in smoked mackerel, it comes up with 3 products. Mackerel, which is protein and free, but it specifically says not smoked.
Ooh.
And going down the list, I'm looking at like Waitrose Love Life smoked mackerel fillets, and going on their website and looking at it, it is just mackerel and sea salt. Well, mackerel and salt, sorry.
So the way you'd buy smoked salmon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's, I think it's a 250 gram pack.
And how many sins?
300 gram pack, typical weight of 0.3 kilograms. And per 100 grams, it's, per 115 gram fillet is 2.5.
Goodness.
That's
Now,
really
what
weird.
about something like John West smoked mackerel in a tin? You know those ones you get, where there's a smoked one and the peppered one and a plain one? I'll leave him to check that. But it just shows you, these are the reasons that I'm always hammering on about it's worth staying to group for. Because as I say, I've been doing this plan for 18 months, this last stretch. Joe's been doing it alongside me, and we've never picked that up. So, you know, I think I've showed smoked mackerel on here before and said it was free.
Well, the ones from John West aren't smoked.
Oh, I
They
thought
do
one of
grilled,
them...
peppered and steamed, isn't it?
Ah, steamed, yeah. So is there a smoked mackerel in a tin?
No.
So really, it's the fresh smoked mackerel that you would buy in the supermarkets on the chilled fish counters.
How weird though.
Yeah, it is weird, but they must add some sort of oil or something
they don't.
during the smoke. I don't know, Joe.
Because the ingredients literally are just fish and salt.
See, if I never had to eat that for the rest of my life, I'd be happy. So that's not going to worry me. But for anybody out there who didn't know that, that could make a difference to your weight. That's one of the things we've talked about in group this morning. We had a really lovely lady who sat directly in front of me, because we have like 3 big circles. The lady who sat directly in front of me is a very, very sporting, active lady. And she came to group this morning and she'd gained 2 pounds and was very surprised because she'd had a 100% on-plan week. And then she just mentioned before group, she'd been and done a park run and come straight to group from the park run, which she doesn't usually. She usually comes straight from home and does a park run on a Sunday morning. So I just said to her, excuse me, can I ask, while you were doing your park run, were you drinking water? And she said, oh yeah, I drank about 1.5 litres. Because you have to if you're running 5k. It makes sense. I said, well, I think that's where your gains come from. Because if you think about it, that's 1.5 litres of water that you wouldn't usually have had in your body on a Saturday morning when you get weighed. And it sort of like the light went on. Of course. We don't think about it because water is calorie free. We think it's weight free, but it isn't. You know, water weighs quite a lot, like any other liquid. And then we were talking about the fact that this lady is a very active, very fit and sporting woman. And a new lady sitting behind me said, but of course, my dear, you must remember, you've been running and muscle weighs more than, a pound of muscle weighs more than a pound of fat. And Naomi immediately said, can anybody give me a good reason to dispute that? And several of us said, yeah. A pound of anything weighs a pound. If it's a pound of feathers, it weighs a pound. If it's a pound of coal, it weighs a pound. Now, a pound of muscle is leaner than a pound of fat, but a pound weighs a pound. And at the end of the day, if you're working on building muscle in your body, that muscle will burn more calories and you'll look better because it's a leaner rather than a bulk weight. But a pound of anything weighs a pound, bottom line. Now, one of the things Naomi did in the meeting this morning, which was lovely, she got a big Christmas parcel. I don't know if all of the group leaders do this. She went round the room and she handed it to several people, some new ones, some old ones, whatever. Just gave us this Christmas present to hold, and I was one of them with my bag back, and it was like, I held it like this. Goodness, that's heavy. Now, when she got back to the front, she said, that weighs 1 stone. And I have to say, I was gobsmacked, because all but for £2, I've lost 12 of those. How the hell I used to stand up and walk, I don't know. I could not physically have carried 4 of those parcels, let alone 12. So whenever you're struggling and you think, I've only lost a stone, go and fill a carrier bag with a stone in weight of tins of tomatoes or beans. You'll need about 14 and a bit, because I think a tin of beans or a tin of tomatoes weighs about 15 ounces. You may need 15 cans, but yeah, I'm working it out. Yeah, it's about 15 cans. But do that and walk around your garden 4 times and see how it makes you feel. And you will realise then, losing a stone is one hell of an achievement. Don't sell yourself short. It's a lot of weight. Right, moving on to my word for the week, and I want to talk this week about Christmas. So that's my word for the week, Christmas. What are the words? Noel, that means Christmas, doesn't it? I believe in Christmas because I believe in Jesus Christ. I love Santa Claus, he's cute and gorgeous. I love the idea of presents and family times and, you know, joy, peace on earth. I'd love nothing better than peace on earth. And I'm not belittling any other faith. If you're not a Christian or you believe differently to me, then bless you, because I don't believe that I have a right to say what anybody else should believe. I'm only ever sharing what I believe, and I would never belittle anyone else's faith. Faith is too important for that. But I want to talk about the way I view the forthcoming Christmas compared to the way I used to view Christmas. Now, that word excuse is going to rear its ugly head several times, because for me, Christmas used to be an excuse to eat. And believe me, I was always searching for an excuse to eat. I'm just going to switch back to something that happened this week. A couple of weeks ago, 3 or 4 weeks ago, I shared that I was having a new desk, part of my birthday present. And Joe had been on the internet and found it at £504 instead of the £800 that I'd initially found it at. And on Monday of this week, the desk was delivered, and it is beautiful. It's an absolutely beautiful piece of oak, solid oak furniture. When it was unpacked and all set up, and Joe was putting my computer, because it is a proper computer desk, with a hidden drawer for the keyboard and a cupboard for the tower and everything it needs. Bigger than my previous desk, much more solid, much heavier. We got it in situ, and Joe starts to put my computer into the new desk, and he's like, oh, where are the holes for the wires? Now apparently there should have been holes in the side of the tower cupboard to thread through the power wire and the keyboard wire, and they're not there. Now, you know, this desk is beautiful. I absolutely love it. It's thick oak and it's just a handsome piece of furniture. But I could have used that, you know, in the past. I was like standing there like Muttley. I could have used that in the past as a bloody good excuse to have a binge. Woe is me. £504 for a desk and it hasn't got a bloody hole where it should have a hole. That would have made a grand excuse to binge. It would, wouldn't it, Joe? Because isn't that the kind of thing I used to eat over?
Mm.
You've
ate over smaller things.
I've ate over a lot smaller things than that. But I could have made that a week's binge. I could have gained half a stone over there being no hole in my desk. But instead, you know, picked up the phone, rang the bespoke manufacturer and asked. Oh, she said there should be a hole. Well, there isn't. Well, contact your retailer and let them come back to us. Contacted the retailer. They said send photographs. Immediately they said we'll get you compensation from the people who made it. Now, to be perfectly honest, I mean, they haven't come back to me and said how much compensation. I'm not bothered about the money. I would rather have had the hole. But I am blessed because I've got a really good friend who's a proper carpenter joiner, and if I choose to, he can sort it. I might not bother. I might put my tower on top. It's so beautiful. Not the tower, the desk. But those are the kind of things that I used to think I had a perfect right to eat over, and I was justified in eating over. And I realised those were the ridiculous things I ate over. Like when I got an email this week and they were increasing my electricity direct debit from £36 a week to £63 a week. Not a week, a month. So the email said from the 7th of next month your electricity direct debit will increase from £36 a month to 63, and I thought, that's a bit daft. That's a massive increase, nearly £30. It's about an 85% increase. So I rang them. I don't suffer fools gladly, and I am not known for having patience, am I, Joe?
No.
So I give as good as I get. So I get through to this man in the direct debit department, and I'm like, okay then, come on, what's occurring here? And I don't think he knew quite how to take me. I said, I'll tell you what's happened here. I said, I can see it. What's happened here is somebody's pressed the wrong keys and come up with the wrong numbers. No, we never do that. Everything's triple checked. So I said, okay then, so tell me what my consumption is for the year. So he gave me a figure in the 400s. And I said, well, how do you work out that 12 times 63 is, let's say it was 422? Oh, he said, that doesn't sound right, does it? I said, no, you're into the 700s now. Oh, let me think. Oh, yes, I can see what's happened. They've divided it by 7. That's why it's £63 a month. No explanation about we're going to change it. So I said, okay, so which country do you live in, love, where there's 7 months in a year? Oh, yes, there's 12, isn't there? And it's like, you know, I want to like bang my head on the brick wall. But bless him, he did change it. Things like that, although they're really minor, would have made perfect excuses for eating. It wasn't a drama, it wasn't a crisis, it wasn't even barely a hiccup. They hadn't taken money out of my bank, there was no shortfall in cash. But oh my, I'd have been doing my Muttley routine. I've got another excuse to eat, because that's what I was like. I won't do that today. I don't need to. If I want to eat anything, I eat on plan. I can have chocolate, I can have crisps, I can have biscuits.
We can have avocado.
I can have avocado, love it. There isn't anything I can't eat on plan. But what plan teaches me, and it's the one thing that people keep knocking and it makes me so angry. I'm angry. I tell you what, girls, let's be perfectly frank here, and gentlemen. I get so pissed off when people keep telling me, a 60-year-old woman, that Slimming World does not teach portion control. Read your books. It does. It does not say, stuff your face, you pig, referring to me, which is what I used to do. It does not say, Jane, eat until you have an attack with your gallstones, like you used to, and end up in hospital again, like I used to. It does not say, eat so much that you can't get up from the table or out of your chair. It says, eat until you're comfortably full. If I chose to eat a meal the size of a dustbin lid, it wasn't because Slimming World told me to, it's because I was greedy. You know? So please, before you come on, or before you even consider saying it, think about it. If you're over the age of 14, I would say, then you should have enough common sense to know when enough is enough. And if you're eating pig-sized portions, get your head in the trough and enjoy it, because you'll have a lovely weight gain this week. Aren't I horrible? No, I'm not horrible. I'm being really honest with you. That's what happens with us. All of us who've been as big and as overweight as I was, and I know a lot of you haven't been hugely massive, but you've all wanted to lose weight or needed to lose weight. All of us who've been 22 stone or thereabouts like I was have got there because we were greedy. Not because we were on tablets, not because, my granddad was overweight, so I'm going to be overweight. Not because my metabolism's slow, because that's another load of BS. All of us get there because we eat too much. That's how I got there. And the only way I've lost the 11 stone 12 pounds that I've lost today is by not being greedy. So let me bring this back to talking about Christmas. For me in the past, for my previous, not last Christmas, but the 58 leading up to that, I was greedy. I used to steal chocolate. In our house we always had a big family Christmas tree, and you know how you have these lovely Cadbury's chocolate tinfoil wrapped things on the tree? It was a joke in my family because my mum could hang 24 of those on the tree, and I could get all of them out of the paper and leave the paper hanging there in the perfect shape. I mean, Joe probably asked Grandma about this, but I could do that, no trouble. And I'd usually have done that by Boxing Day. And our tree only ever went up on Christmas Eve. Every year my grandma used to buy my dad a lovely big oblong tin of chocolate covered nuts. And there were hazelnuts and almonds and Brazil nuts. And I used to be in and out that tin like a fiddler's elbow, rearranging the nuts so it didn't look like there were so many missing, pinching one of these, two of those, one of those. And my dad, bless him, never let on to me that he knew I was doing it. But he said to me years later, I never ate any of those nuts, you used to eat them all. And I knew you were doing it, but you thought you were clever. I just got fatter. When you have tins of biscuits at Christmas, and for most of us that's the only time we buy tins of biscuits, I used to lift the top layer out carefully because they weren't individually cellophane wrapped in those days. The bottom layer was open if you lifted the top one off. And I used to eat all of the biscuits I liked out of the bottom layer, and then I used to put the leftover biscuits into the corner spaces to support the one on top. Nobody in my family ever commented when they got to the bottom layer. They knew I'd done it. I thought I got away with it. We used to have the big tins of roses because my parents were in business, they were publicans, and lots of customers used to buy the really, really big tins of Quality Street and roses that you got in those days. I mean, they were probably 2 kilo tins. They don't make them anymore. I used to take one from the bar and hide it in my bedroom and eat it. And when that one was gone, I'd take another. Did I think nobody noticed? My mum used to make her own pork pies because she was in business, and she made the most incredible pork pies. That's probably where my love of pork pie came from. She always made 12 for Christmas. I used to steal one. Did I think she couldn't count? I have done the most dishonest things around food. And I look back on it now, and I'm not going to say I'm ashamed of myself because it's in the past. It happened. It made me what I was. And today I am who I am because of the things I've learned and the way I've evolved. But looking back on it, do you know why I was fat? Because I overate. Do you know whose fault it was? It was mine. And for years I blamed my family. Oh, it's the Sewell side of my family. They're all fat. They're all like me, big body, slim legs. No, they weren't. They were bigger in the body and skinny in the legs. But most of my aunties would have been a size 12, 14. My dad probably weighed 11.5 stone. And I blamed him for my being 20 stone. Nobody else in my family ever ate like I did. Neither of my brothers, and one's 11 months older than me and one's 3 years younger, they were never as fat like I was. It was my choice to do it. So what I'm trying to say here about Christmas is, you've got 10 weeks to consider what you want to do about Christmas. If you want to come off plan and overeat, don't be upset with yourself afterwards when you've gained half a stone or more. Own it. I won't be doing that because I don't need to anymore. I'm grateful that I don't need to anymore. I've no desire to do that. I'm so comfortable with the way I eat. What we've decided to do as a family, the three of us, Joe and his dad and myself, rather than buy in lots and lots of what people call Christmas food, you know, all the unnecessary chocolate logs and trifles and nuts and crisps and chocolates and toffees and anything else you can use as an excuse, is we've decided to treat ourselves to a meal out on Christmas Day, which is expensive. I think for the three of us it'll be about £300. But you know what? I'd have spent a lot more than that on booze and junk for Christmas. So we're going to go 85 miles to a beautiful hotel in Yorkshire that Debbie SW knows because she's been there too. We've been going there for 35 years, on and off. And we've decided that's the way we're going to choose. We're going to have a 4-course Christmas lunch in one of our favourite restaurants. That is our Christmas. Outside of that is plan. I shall be on plan. That isn't because I'm goody two-shoes. And I've heard that bandied about several people lately. I'm not a goody two-shoes.
What, that you are?
No, not that I am.
Oh.
But it's been bandied about.
Oh.
No, enough said, Joe.
Yeah, fair enough. I thought someone was saying it.
No,
like,
but I haven't heard anybody
comments
specifically
like
say it about me. Only in jest. Bev said it in jest, but that's jest. It isn't that some of us are goody two-shoes and some of us aren't. It's just some of us choose to do it one way and some choose to do it another. And if you want to enjoy Christmas and choose to have the Quality Street and the Heroes and the chocolate log and the iced cake and the Christmas pudding, because you enjoy that and it means a lot to you as a family, do it. But own it. Don't come back. Because, I mean, we're going to have a weigh-in Christmas Eve, we're going to have a weigh-in New Year's Eve. So you're going to have a weigh-in before Christmas, you're going to have a weigh-in after Christmas. Don't go to your weigh-in after Christmas and be angry with yourself or disgusted with yourself or upset with yourself. Just own it and move on. I watched a young lady, had never come across her videos before, but something came up on my recommended list during the week. And I'm not going to mention her name. I don't think she even still vlogs. I've never even come across her before. But she...
Sorry, no, I'm not laughing at you.
I thought you were laughing at me because I won't mention her name.
I'm laughing at the book.
Oh, sorry. He's reading Slimming World. This young lady was really nice, but the video I happened to watch, well, I'm going to tell you, I think her name was Vicky. Would it be Vixter? She was lovely. I've never honestly come across her before, and I've been watching YouTube for about a year. So I don't know whether she still vlogs or not, but if she doesn't, come back because she's good. But she put a vlog up that was obviously the weigh-in after a Christmas. And it's all right for me to talk about it because it's public property, it's on YouTube. And she was quite upset with herself that she had a gain. And I think her gain was, I'm not sure, £9, something like that. And she is really nice. So if you can find it, watch it. It's sad when we beat ourselves up after the event, when we've actually done the damage or chosen to do the damage ourselves. So my encouragement to anybody this year, and I'm going to do it because I can't live any other way, is don't choose to do it and then beat yourself up about it. Own it. So nobody says you have to stick to Slimming World 100% all over the Christmas period. Everybody's lifestyle is different. Some people will be doing a lot of parties and entertaining. You do what you choose to do. But don't come back and say, Father Christmas made me do this.
I think it helps not to bring it into the house.
Some people have to because they've got big families and they've got
yeah.
people coming to stay and people visiting.
If you have the option, if it's your house.
Oh yeah, I mean we have the option because only Joe
it in.
and I live here, we won't bring it in. But if you've got kiddies and you've got your mum and dad coming and your brothers and sisters and family parties and things, it is difficult. But own it. Choose to do it. And then after Christmas say, right, the weight loss I got I deserved. I enjoyed the doing of it. Now I'm going to start again. Do not come back feeling guilty because that will impede your getting back on plan. If you gain a few pounds over Christmas, it's not going to be the end of the world. It's really not. And every one of us has to look at our own circumstances. I would say for us today, it's easier for me because I don't have a house full of children. We visit family rather than them visiting us because we live such a long way from our families. So we tend to go to them rather than them coming to us because it's easier. But this Christmas and looking at my bauble that I was handed today, I want to weigh the same on New Year's Eve as I weigh on Christmas Eve. I can't afford to do it any other way. And that works for me. So, yeah, Christmas. We've got 10 weeks to think about it. We don't need 10 weeks to eat over it. I hope everybody has a good Christmas and finds peace on earth, even if it's only within your own relationships. But I know for this plan, I've got a few bits here to show.
I was going to remind you.
I know for this plan today to work, you cannot just put it down for a fortnight and pig out over Christmas. A couple of items, 3 different things I want to share today. Before I do, a disclaimer. When I show any items, whether it's an electrical item, a food item, a drink item, whatever, on my vlog, I have always bought these items. I would not accept companies giving things to me and asking me to promote them. I don't believe in that. It would clash with my integrity. Somebody asked me a couple of weeks ago why I don't have adverts on my vlogs. I mean, I don't even know how to do it, but I choose not to because when I'm watching somebody else's Slimming World vlog and the advert that pops up before it is for weight loss tablets.
Yeah, or Tropicana or something.
Yeah, Tropicana, yeah. Wrong. Don't like it. And I would have no control over what adverts went on my channel. I don't need to make any money from promoting anybody's items. I don't want discounts from Amazon or anywhere else. So today I choose to buy products that I'm going to use and share them with you. So I don't endorse any of these things. I'm not getting discounts or promotion codes or anything. I'm just showing you what I choose to buy. So when it comes down to like my soup maker, I bought my soup maker. I'd recommend you buy one, it's fabulous. Right, these. Pea snacks.
Yeah.
Chilli, sweet chilli. Salt and vinegar.
They're from Aldi.
From Aldi at 39p and 4 cents. And they are actually quite nice. I'm going to open the packet and show you what they look like. Just use the rattling. They look like...
Hold it forward a bit.
What colour are they, Joe?
Well, that one's kind of greeny orange.
Right. That's a sweet
chilli
flavour.
Yeah, hold it up a tiny bit. Yeah, that's it, yeah.
They're quite solid, a bit like sort of a Monster Munch type consistency. But they're actually they're nice. I mean, I'm not a massive person for crisps and things because crisps are one of my triggers. I can eat, well, I used to be able to eat a 12-pack of Walker's crisps. I would be afraid to get back into that, so I tend not to eat them. But for 4 cents, they are nice. And this week I have had a packet of the chilli ones and a packet of the salt and vinegar ones, and I didn't go back to the cupboard to get the others, so they can't be that much of a trigger for me. The other thing, I often say I don't like fruit and yoghurt, but Joe saw this Muller Lite, limited edition mango and melon.
Yeah, inspired by Hawaii.
Inspired by Hawaii. We ought to go to Hawaii, dear. Might be nice.
Yeah.
I love mango, I love melon. So Joe brought one earlier in the week for me to try. And I tried it in one of my overnight breakfast things with Weetabix. And I have to say, it does taste like melon and it does taste like mango. It's got little bits of fruit in it. We have checked and it is sin-free. Don't put sweetener in it, you'll ruin it. It doesn't need it. It's got the kind of sweet sharpness to the fruit. It's really worth a try. And finally, Ribena Winter Spice is back. We loved this last winter, didn't we, Joe?
Yeah.
And we're foolish enough not to realise that come January they stop making it. So this year I'm going to stock up. But it's on sale in Asda at the moment, and today is the 8th of October. No, it isn't. It's the 15th, a week behind everybody else. Today's the 15th of October. This is on sale in Asda at the moment for £1.50, so it has £1 off. And quite a few people in group this morning mentioned it because we were all excited to see it back. Okay, that's me done for this week. Think about Christmas. Think about where you want to be after Christmas. Think about how many pounds you're prepared to invest in enjoying Christmas. And even if you did that, and I think for me that would be a thing, if I wrote down, you know, I'm prepared to invest, say £5, if you know that you want to have that kind of Christmas. I'm prepared to invest £5 in enjoying Christmas. At least when you get on the scales after Christmas, you won't be berating yourself. You'll be able to own it. And I think for us today, to keep our heads in a tidy, safe place, it's probably a wise move. So have a brilliant week, everybody. Thank you for all the comments from last week's vlog. It really helped me to understand I am a slim person. And I keep saying it to myself, like I get out of bed in the morning. You are slim. You feel great.
That was
you look
one
good.
of the things in this book that I just read. One second, I'll take me a second to
He's
just
going
find
through
it again. I'm sorry.
the Slimming World book as he's standing behind the camera. Teach us something, Joe.
Well, this isn't the thing I was looking for, but it does kind of fit. The road to success with your body starts with your head. Instead
Choking yourself.
instead of dwelling on what you can't have, concentrate instead on what you can have.
What page is that?
That is page 80 something. We cut the numbers off.
Oh yeah, we cut the edge off the book to get it in my
to
folder.
get it in your folder.
But it's in the 80s. Look for it. Probably fold the corner over so that, you know, on the days where you're thinking, I can't have a cake, I can't have a donut, I can't have a cream scone.
Oh, that kind of fit as well.
Oh, there's a line of
Biscuits,
information.
chocolates, crisps, nuts, savoury snacks, trigger foods are packed with sins, almost impossible to resist and completely Moorish. No food is banned, so learn to know yourself, and if you know something is your trigger food, steer clear.
Yeah, so that's like me. Walker's crisps.
Yeah, these are good.
Love them, especially Worcester sauce and prawn cocktail. But I can't go there today. The memory of them is actually quite nice. I can still taste them if I think about them. I don't need to be munching on 12 packets today.
Yeah, this is the one I was looking for. You know how you were saying, like, kind of like, I am slim, like, kind of
Yeah.
being, like, positive thinking about yourself and, like, kind of projecting yourself in a positive light. But anyway, imagination is powerful. Imagine yourself succeeding and not failing. Every day as you wake up and before you sleep, imagine yourself succeeding.
Yeah. See, there's some gems in this book. I always remember Jo, mummy of twins, saying she keeps her book handy and she reads it. And I think maybe I need to get the CD copy out of mine and listen to it a bit more often, because I don't ever remember reading any of those when I listened to the CDs originally.
I think it's because they're in like the index at the back that like tell you the sins of ice creams and
And I wouldn't have looked,
pizzas
yeah, I
and
wouldn't have looked at
pork
those.
and beef and offal and poultry and stuff like that. It's in a bit of a random place to have all these like little success tips, but
But if you find them, fold the corner over in your book maybe.
in Slimming World, if you're listening, make an accessible A and B choice that's consistently updated that I can just go on and check the list.
It does
because
his
it's
head
so
in.
hard to find A and B choices.
He wants a job with
because it's
Slimming World.
constantly changing.
He wants
Yeah, I
a
could
job
do.
with Slimming World, actually keeping the healthy extra list up to date, because Jo thinks,
And also update the app so it's got like a bigger so I can see more
oh, instead of just
things.
31
yeah,
things,
rather
half
than
of them
being
are
such
irrelevant. Jo believes that if they had a healthy extra A and a healthy extra B list that was updated, say, on, at the beginning of every month, it would be so much easier for us, because there are so many
It's so much
hexas
easier
and
for
bees.
everyone.
Yeah, but there are so many hexas and bees out there that people just never come across.
And the whole thing is about like eating variety, isn't it? Like isn't that one of the tips at the start?
Yeah.
It's like everything in moderation and eat a wide variety of foods. Well, I would eat more of a variety if I could see the
Choices.
options available to me in an easy to see place. But yeah, anyway, sorry,
Yeah,
it's
so-
me rambling.
I'm going to send him round
Ranting.
to their head office. It's not far from us. He can go and tell them these things. Anyway, cheers. Have a great week. Thanks for being there. Thanks for all your fabulous comments last week. They really are appreciated. And remember, it works if you work it. It won't if you don't. Bye.